Has your health been covered up? Today, it's Revealing Wholeness with Dr. Troy Munson, presented to you by Infinity Whole Health.
So last time we talked about this autoimmune condition, and we used these examples of like cholesterol being in the blood vessels.
Yes.
and causing things, and then the cells being damaged over and over, and every time the cell gets damaged, our immune system reacts by cleaning up that debris. And when it reacts like that, it's starting to build up antibodies that attack those tissues that are natural to our body. So I want to reiterate that real quick. If somebody punches me in my right side of my abdomen and they damage my liver and thousands of cells break open, and I spill liver contents into the surrounding tissue and it gets to the blood, my body is going to attack that debris. It's going to have to clean it up. And when it attacks it, it's actually starting to build up little chemicals called antibodies that are searching to make sure this doesn't happen again and that it's more sensitive the next time.
Wow.
And so the same respect, like let's say we have a virus or bacteria that invades our body. That virus or bacteria we attack and we memorize what it is. So if it ever happens again, we attack it faster so that we don't get a cold or flu the next time. We don't even realize that we were invaded. We just attacked it and it got cleaned up very, very fast. It never got a chance to take a hold and proliferate. Well, if our immune system starts doing that against us, now we got a problem, because now it's going to start attacking my liver. So let's say I've damaged my liver and a month later I damage it again, and 2 months later I damage it again. I'm building up antibodies against my own liver tissue, and now I'm attacking it faster than I can repair my liver. That is an autoimmune disease.
So here's a question that would be, I think, everybody's mind. Kids nowadays are very athletic. They're out playing soccer. We have football and other contact sports.
Yeah.
As they get hit or fall or whatever, over a matter of time, does this cause a problem in their bodies?
It can if they're not healthy. And we briefly mentioned it. It's always good to repeat it. Vitamin C and vitamin E are some of the most important nutrients for the athlete, because that not only is thinning the matrix around the cells, but it's helping them repair as fast as possible. It's giving them energy. It's doing so much that they need as an athlete. It's really peak performance type of nutrition. And it's whole vitamin C. We can't go to the store and get ascorbic acid. We've talked about that in past shows, where that's just a preservative. That is almost nothing in compared to what's really important in the vitamin C complex. In vitamin E, so many people take D-alpha tocopherol. Just had a client yesterday bring in vitamin E and she said it's 400 international units of D-alpha tocopherol. Isn't that what I need? Well, no, that's the preservative portion of the vitamin E complex. There's 1,000 things that make vitamin E what it really, really is. And so as the athlete does their due diligence to make sure their diet is really, really up to snuff and more high octane than the average person, because they need that, then they will perform well without having these things happen to them.
So it would balance out to make sure that they had the proper nutrients, the proper supplements and things of that nature to keep the body so it's reacting all the time in a positive fashion.
True. Why do we think that now, as we talked about, the number 1, 2, and 3 drugs is for autoimmune? We have so many people at so many different ages, not the elderly, that are getting autoimmune. It's everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody is struggling because their systems aren't clean. The diet is polluted. The environment is polluted. I mean, in this room, we've got paint, we've got plastics, we've got dyes in our clothes and
the carpet.
Yeah. So we've got all these things that we're dealing with all the time. And if we add it now to our food, it's becoming too much. And so the body is being damaged at an alarming rate. And we're seeing it as autoimmune type effects as one aspect.
So cleaning up your environment, cleaning up your diet, watching what goes in and around, say, fixtures and paint, being more savvy on what's going on is much better for your health.
Absolutely. More green products, the better. I mean, I think that goes without saying. And you ask anybody, would you like more chemicals in your environment or less? What do you think's better for you? We all know the answer to that. It's almost a ridiculous question. But we just don't consider it in our own environment because it's always around us. We go out to eat and I'm sure there's thousands of chemicals. And we go to a doctor's office. I'm sure there's thousands of chemicals. But as we one by one start really saying no to chemical companies that are producing these things, we start demanding products that are much better for us. So that's part of it.
One of the other things I want to bring up real quickly is, and I know that you're well aware of it, is that we are now with synthetic meat that's coming on the market.
Yes.
Is that really as good as they're claiming it can be for our health? Or is that moving it more over to additives and stuff that our bodies are going to reject?
You know, I think time will tell, but here's the problem that we'll always face. You know, I remember watching Star Trek as a kid and thinking,
Right.
a food replicator, how cool is that?
Yeah, just punch the buttons and
Yes.
there it comes.
Exactly. And so the problem is, like, let's say that we go to create an identical amino acid that's in food. Well, oftentimes what happens when we try to create it in a lab, it is diametrically opposed. It's like a mirror image.
Okay.
And so they'll look opposite even though they're the same thing. And they'll register like what we call a gas chromatograph that senses chemicals and where they are. It'll tell us what's in them. And we can look at it and say, well, it looks identical, but it is a diametrically opposed molecule. And so it actually doesn't really fit what our body's used to seeing. And so other molecules don't fit with it. And so now we have trouble making proteins, we have trouble making hormones, we have trouble making cell material, and now we have a system that's degenerating. So if they've perfected a way to make those synthetic proteins correct, then I would say we're probably okay there, because ultimately if we're just going to eat animal meat like muscle meat, there's not a whole lot of nutrient density there. It's not like a liver or a kidney or a thymus gland, you know, that we would eat back 300 years ago that was dense nutrition. So if we're just talking muscle meat, it may be okay. But again, you know, time will tell for sure.
Well, it's kind of interesting because I know they're arguing in Congress now. Would this be considered meat to label it or not meat to label it? And actually the Cattlemen's Association announced yesterday that they're going to take this to court to get it straightened out because they do not want this labeled as a meat product on the market.
Sure. Eventually, we'll fast forward 30 years and they'll be sorry that they did that, because I'm sure they're going to get invested in that and then they're going to realize, man, we shouldn't have done that. But at least they're fighting the right battle at this point. So as we finish up here with autoimmune, I want to point out that, you know, if we're going to tone down a nervous system, or excuse me, an immune system, we have to affect the nervous system. So when I have clients that have autoimmune stuff, the first thing I want to do is to start balancing their nervous system, and that's chiropractic. That's the realm of the adjustment of cooling down the whole nervous system and helping it operate at 100% and not 150% and not at 50% either. We want that brain and nervous system controlling itself very, very specifically, and that's the job of chiropractic. Then we want to start adding specific nutrients for the body's cleaning out abilities and anti-inflammatory diets. But we also want to add specific nutrients that are going to help modulate the immune system. Now, if you notice, I chose the word modulate. I didn't choose depress.
Right.
I didn't choose enhance because it's already operating at 150, 200% as an autoimmune. I want to modulate that immune system right at 100%. And there are herbs and things that will do that very, very well.
Very effectively.
Yes, and they work marvelously. So if you're out there and you're wondering, how can I get help for my spouse or my child or my parent or myself because I have an autoimmune disease or my friend does or somebody I know does, they are more than welcome to contact our office. And if you're out of state, because we're in Washington State, I do phone conferences across the U.S. and out of country, and we operate from near and far, so we can help anybody and everybody.
And everybody.
Do this, yes.
Well, give us how we can contact you.
Absolutely. You're welcome to call the office at 360-893-8586, where we would email you information and get it back from you, or fax, and then we would have a phone conference and decide what is going to work best for you. And if you want to email me because you have more questions, you're welcome to do that too at chiroman@dr.com, which is CHIROMAN@dr.com.
Well, it's always great to have a good conversation on our health today, and we appreciate it. And I look forward to more of Revealing Wellness. So until we meet again, have a great day.